Dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this Congress for giving chance to present our healthy people results. And my report is about physiological effects of drinking water enriched with H2O16. I would like to inform you about the establishment of Research and Production Center for water enriched with H2O16 in Russia. Our company has its own certified industrial production, and we conduct scientific research of physical and biological properties of water enriched with H2O16. It's a well-known fact that natural water has heterogeneous composition. In addition to main molecule H2O16, there are heavy isotopologues, heavy water isotopologues. And in natural water, a liter of natural water contains almost 3 grams of such heavy molecules. So we can say that water enriched with H2O16 is actual equivalent to heavy isotopologues depleted water. It's known that changes in isotope composition of the solvent leads to changes in velocities of chemical reactions. In the case of water, the largest isotope effect was observed in the reaction of transfer pair proton-electron. Molecules containing heavy isotopes, hydrogen and oxygen, can lead to changes in normal biochemical processes in organism. In biological systems, with long sequences of reaction and cooperative effects, usually insignificant percent of heavy water considerably slows down this reaction, these processes. Cooperative transfer of pair proton-electron in a complex 2 of respiratory chain of mitochondria can serve as an example of such reactions. The molecules of heavy water inhibit the reactions of mitochondrial respiratory chain, main energy reactions of the organism. It was shown by our colleague Igor Pomytkin while studying kinetics of the generation of hydrogen peroxide in isolated red liver mitochondria. Water enriched with H2O16 inhibits the reaction of generating of hydrogen peroxide. So, reduction of heavy isotopologues inhibition leads to release of energy resources in cells. In this respect, the goal of our study was to test whether water enriched with H2O16 may improve functional performance during aerobic exercises in healthy people. Studies were conducted in Institute of Physiology of Russian Academy of Medical Science. 20 human volunteers took part, aged from 18 till 34, took part in this investigation. They were divided in 2 groups. Test persons of the first group were drinking water enriched with H2O16, trademark Aquaslab, and the second group served as a controller. The level of light isotopologues in Aquaslab water corresponds to standard light Antarctic precipitation. Blood tests were conducted, clinical and biochemical analysis, immunological and hormonal status, antioxidant activity. Test persons were studied in vegetative status, gas exchange, level of health provision, and physical performance. Consumption of water during 28 days led to some to changes in some blood parameters, but all only in the range of norms. These persons of the first group, after aqua slab water consumption, shown significant decrease in the level of eosinophils, basophil leukocytes, lymphocytes, chlorides, T3 and thyroid-stimulated hormones, and increased in monocytes and insulin. At the same time, the level of indicators which were out of the range of norms at the beginning of the study became normal after aqua slab water consumption. There were no any significant differences in values of blood pressure of test persons. Hemodynamic parameters were determined on the basis of values of blood pressure and heart rate. The values of blood volume flow per minute in both groups after water consumption were decreased, but the values of total peripheral vascular resistance were decreased at this, to the end of the study. The analysis of obtained data indicates the fact that there are no any significant differences in hemodynamic parameters before and after water consumption, but the tendency was noted to improving these indicators. And in the first group, after aqua slab water consumption, this tendency was more vivid. And this data demonstrate the advantage of aqua slab consumption for improving of blood parameters of blood circulation. Since the hemodynamic parameters influence total overall physical performance and aerobic performance of muscular work, we studied the impact of water enriched with H2O16 on gas exchange parameters during standard physical performance on veloergometer. In the second group, the level of CO2 allocation and heart rate were increased to the end of the study. But in the first group, the level of CO2 emission was decreased at the same level of heart rate. These non-trivial data were reflected in calculated values of energy costs on standard energy performance. And it is evident that values of energy costs in the first group after aqua slab water consumption to the end of the study were decreased. On the other hand, in the control group, these values were increased. Then the physical working capacity was investigated based on data of Harvard step test. This indicator was increased in the first group after aqua slab water consumption and small decrease in control group. So, complex of obtained data shows that consumption water enriched with H2O16 increases physical performance, energy organism resources, and helps the body to recover after physical activity. And the following conclusions were made to the end of this study. Water enriched with H2O16 facilitates mitochondrial respiration due to the inhibition of proton-coupled electron transfer. The inhibition of proton-coupled electron transfer provides involvement previously arrested mitochondrial facilities in energy production in cells. An improvement of energetic metabolism with water enriched with H2O16 seems to underlie major biological effects of the water. Drinking aquaslab water enriched with H2O16 improves functional performance in healthy people during aerobic exercises, a physiological state with high demand on energy production, and the consumption of aquaslab leads to normalization hemodynamic parameters of healthy people. So, drinking water enriched with H2O16 has the significant potential to increase the energy resources of healthy people and represent a promising approach to improvement of life quality of healthy people. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Questions, please.
Do you have any in vitro data about the activities of electron transport chain enzymes in the presence?
My colleague, Harold.
Okay.
Oops.
Yes, okay. In vitro data, we have rather a lot.
Maybe microphone.
Okay. Of course, behind this data, we have a lot of experiments which can prove that it is, and also in vitro. We have experiment we can share and publish on our website. It is and it's almost the same effect. That it is which prove that the inhibition, that it is if we reduce amount of the deuterium first of all, or maybe heavy oxygen. We reduce load and to the cells reaction, biochemical reaction, and free energy resources, and cells or body use this energy to solve its own problem. Is it mood, or is it, for example, a cancer problem or diabetes and so on? It's just the body has more energy, more resources to put in order its own problem. This is our position.
Was the study is double-blind study?
Yes. And
other questions, please.
So my question is, when we talk about H2O16 molecules, finally we could say at the same time this is deuterium-depleted water, or can you confirm that? So when you are separated and try to get a water for O16, at the same time there will be a depletion for deuterium.
yes.
Okay, so in that, I remember that 2 years ago we have the same debate. That
Yes,
how
yes.
can you separate that, whether if you see some effect, this is due to the lower D concentration or due to the lower O18 concentration?
Yes, we now understand that it's the main effect, of course, of deuterium depletion, because we conduct several experiments of depletion, oxygen depletion, and it's we see this effect, but it's this effect's not ready to present in front of such conference. It's rather complicated, not linear effects. So this is how we see this world.
Okay, again, but the question is whether can we separate, if you see the effect, whether it's due to the lower deuterium level or it is due to the lower oxygen 16 level?
Okay. It's separate conduct. It's separate research. It was separate research done. Yes, we can separate it, and of course we are able to produce water which fixed without deuterium, but conditioned on the oxygen level, natural level, and vice versa. And during this experiment, we saw that main impact it is of deuterium depletion.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Your question, please. Yeah.
So just a couple of background things. I don't recall what the turnover rate of body water is, but I'm sure somebody in this room could give me that information. How
60% of the body is water.
No, the turnover. That's to say how rapidly the body water is
70%.
replaced.
Even boom.
It's about a week. Okay, so that was four half-lives. About a week.
So
Yeah.
someone consuming 1.5 liter water per day, it takes twice as long to get the activity.
Yeah. Well, that was the follow-up question. Did you follow the deuterium and oxygen-16 content of bulk body water during these experiments? Did you look at blood, sample water, urine, and respired water? Because I think it's very important to have that data to relate to the factors like energy consumption to show that there has actually been a change in the bulk body water deuterium content. Have you got that data somewhere?
We have now samples of the blood on the stock, and this experiment now is continued for the for the bigger group and also for the sportsmen. And
Надо сказать, что мы работали в пределах природной концентрации, что это же только...
And also we work in the range of the natural concentration. It is that for the healthy people we think that we have to use only natural range. So, but in any case, you are absolutely right. We have to watch this concentration in blood. Thank you.
Other questions? Your question, please.
On one of your slides, I could see that you checked the antioxidant properties of your water. Can you tell us something about this? The antioxidant
Repeat,
effect.
please. I don't understand also.
Sorry?
Repeat it, please.
Repeat, please.
Okay. One of your slides, I could see that you checked the antioxidant effect of your water, but I couldn't see any data.
What effect?
Can you tell us something about the antioxidant properties of your water?
Did you? We not investigate antioxidant effect.
This slide.
Not. I think.
Maybe further. I don't know. No.
Because it's.
This one, this antioxidant activity is written there.
Antioxidant activность.
There were no any significant differences in the level of these parameters.
Okay, thank you.
Other question, please. We're not hurrying. The third report will be deleted. There is no authors here, so we have time.
Yes, okay.
Please.
In that case, could we go back? Yeah, stop. Could we go back to the respiratory experiment? I didn't quite follow the effect on the carbon dioxide.
This?
No, the where the
Well, ergometer.
that one. Yeah, the data for that.
Данные по нему. Покажите.
Nasty thing to do to people.
Yes,
My
exchange.
cardiologist does it to me. Okay, yeah, I don't. The change in the level of CO2 emission. So that's actually the quantity of CO2 or the deuterium content of the CO2. Oh, sorry, the oxygen-16 content of the CO2 that's changing there. That's.
It wasn't checked.
It's quantity. That's the quantity of CO2 being respired. Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if it was a quantitative measurement or an isotopic measurement. Okay, so then the question is there a difference in the oxygen 1H216 content of that carbon dioxide?
The gas. Если изменение изотопного эффекта кислорода в газе СО2.
Изотопный эффект же они не мерили.
We are not check it, not measure.
We check only overall CO2 level of CO2 emission.
And it's institute, it's rather big Russian institute, which has its own protocol, which use every time. It's
without isotope measurements.
Right.
Yes, and they were very surprised that they, of course, they used to that people after 28 days of the exercises started to be tired, but for them was absolutely surprised, and they even talk about some discovery that it is a body. If people just drink water, they started to work more efficient, 20% more efficient. It is a level of discovery for their point of view.
How many people were involved in this?
20.
20.
In this group,
14 people.
In the first group.
But all ratio was in the good shape that it's.
I want to return to the previous question. And what was the long of the consumption of water?
28 days.
28 days. But I want to comment that usually the half period of total change of water is 7 days. So this is mainly French works. Made by Tritium.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.